Kana Satoshi of YouTubers, I am the Sceptical Leprechaun and welcome to the channel where we get drunk on reason. In my last video, we explored the flaws and fallacies contained within the original Aristotelian cosmological argument. If you want to know more about why that argument fails, please consult my previous video. The goal of this video is to delve deeper into the cosmological argument and to explore some of the more contemporary thinkers that have written about the subject. Some of you may believe that I covered everything adequately in the previous video, but the cosmological argument is a complex issue with a vast literature attached. In fact, this leads us to a key criticism that I have of the skeptic community. Most of the pillars of the skeptic community here on YouTube and in other forums believe that the cosmological argument and other arguments for the existence of God can be relegated to a single video. This simplistic approach to such complex and nuanced literature and philosophy is misguided in my view. On a side note, I think it very important to explore these arguments thoroughly, lest the theistic community accuse the skeptic community of not engaging honestly with their arguments. Don't get me wrong, I adore my skeptical brothers and sisters, but it seems to me that many of them are far too quick to dismiss these arguments. This is not to say that I believe people should give these arguments more consideration in terms of believing their conclusions. Rather, I believe the conversation itself is important, irrespective of what one believes. Philosophical arguments of this nature teach us everything we need to know about skeptical thinking. They arm our minds with bullshit detectors. Apologies to those of you who may have been offended by that previous expletive, but let's continue. With these points in mind, what follows is a further exploration of the cosmological argument with a specific focus on Thomas Aquinas. Thomas Aquinas was a Christian theologian and monk who argued vehemently in favour of God's existence. It won't surprise you to discover that Thomas Aquinas was heavily influenced by the thinking of Aristotle. Aquinas is well known for his so-called 5 ways which prove God's existence. The first of Aquinas' 5 ways was taken directly from Aristotle. In other words, Aquinas argued that all moving things must have an original source of motion. And rather unsurprisingly, Aquinas concluded that this original source of motion, just like Aristotle did, was God. Now, lest I be accused of being repetitive, I won't rehash that argument here. Suffice to say, Aquinas co-opted Aristotle's original argument and used it as his first way of proving God's existence. If you'd like to know any more about that argument and its origin, please check out parts 1 and 2 of this cosmological argument series. While Aquinas did offer 4 more ways of knowing God's existence, I believe that exploring all 4 of them is beyond the scope of this video. What follows then is an exploration of Aquinas' second and third ways. Considering that the aim of this channel is to explore these arguments thoroughly, I hope that people will not assume that I'm avoiding Aquinas' 4th and 5th ways. For those of you who believe cowardice to be a motivation in my omitting of ways 4 and 5, I will leave a link in the description where you can read all 5 ways yourself. If indeed you conclude that ways 4 and 5 are a crippling blow to the atheist or skeptic's position on this topic, please leave a message in the comments below and I would be more than happy to explore those ways in a future video. Now, with all that out of the way, let's explore Aquinas' second way, the argument from causation. Premise 1 states the following: there exists things that are caused by other things. Nothing too controversial so far, eh? Premise number 2, nothing can be the cause of itself. Here's where it starts to get a little bit shaky. Premise number 3, there cannot be an endless string of objects causing other objects to exist. That argument sounds familiar. Premise number 4, and/or the conclusion, therefore there must be an uncaused first cause called God. Without further ado, let us explore Aquinas' third way. This is the argument from contingency and necessary objects. Contingency, of course, refers to the state of one thing depending on another thing or things for its existence. Premise number 1, contingent beings are caused. Aquinas' use of the word being here does not pertain exclusively to humans. Rather, Aquinas is referring to all things, human beings and inanimate objects as well. Premise number 2, not every being can be contingent. Premise number 3, there must exist a being which is necessary in order to cause contingent beings. And premise number 4, this being we call God. I bet none of you saw that plot twist coming. That was like the ending of Usual Suspects. That just blew your minds. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. You know it. You know it's true. So that's it. Are you convinced? Does Aquinas' argument do something that Aristotle's didn't? Or have you identified some key problems and fallacies in Aquinas' argumentation also? Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Whatever you do, make sure you stick around for the next video where I'm going to explore some of the potential flaws and fallacies in Aquinas' argument. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, blame God. For anything else, please leave a comment below. I have been the Sceptical Leprechaun. I hope you liked the video. Slán go fóill.